The most important thing is that, yes, they are saying we are tired of a system that doesn't deliver for us. And I think we should have taken cue from Eldoret, who was in Gishu. When that young lady lectured the entire of the leadership, county and the national, in Uasin Gishu, the first thing she told them is, you told us to meet here at 9 o'clock. What time is this? You are leaders. You are coming 2 hours late, keeping us here and our parents waiting. We never took care of that questioning by that young lady. She asked one of them, we raised our money, you squandered our money, you are children in Australia. What do you think I feel? And I was beating your kids in school. We should have taken cue from that. They were questioning the powers of the county and the national government, the elites, and telling them this is over. We can't tolerate this anymore. And their parents were there. Remember, it's not the parents who were talking. This land was accompanied by parents, but she decided to speak on behalf of her parents, and speaking in a manner that we have never spoken to power before, speaking truth to power in a very unprecedented manner. And it has gone on in different other spaces. And we forget that even in our own homes, this is a generation that Macharia Gaido cannot order, that you cannot go for a sleepover as you wish. They'll tell you, I'll go. Utadu. And when they come back and you ask them hard questions, they may want to tell you, I may want to leave again. So it's a generation that requires dialogue, very intelligent. We also forget that 10 years ago, this is the same generation that was banning schools. It's 10 or 8 years ago. For a period of 3 years, they were banning schools for two simple things. They wanted democratization of the governance of schools. The schools that survived are schools that allowed them to elect captains and prefects by and large. But schools that never allowed dialogue with them are the ones that were facing the wrath. And most of the things they wanted were very simple things. Like, when can we go for a half-term? We should go for a half-term after mock exams. And the school says, no, after mock exams, we want you to pass, so you must go to school the next Monday. Exams end on a Friday, Monday will be school day. They say no, they ban the school. They give themselves a holiday. We refuse to learn that their urge for better governance started a long time ago, including from homes. And they are saying systems of this nature that we have cannot work. I think we have heard already what is being repeated. You have told us that education is the greatest equalizer, is the key to success, but it is not. We have come to realize that connections opens the key to everything. We want connections, we want keys that open to everyone. We want education that works for everyone. That's the message they are passing. And I don't think political leaders are listening, but they could be listening. In my view, this is the time the president doesn't require sycophants. This is the time the president doesn't require friends he has known for long. This is the time the president requires people who are different in terms of voices. And this is the time he requires to hear from people who value the future of this country. Because even if we don't attend to their demands right now, they will make the country ungovernable. We may see goons who are demanding money, but the ones who are making sense will vote with their feet in 2027. And we have seen people voting with their feet. There's no MCA in this country who is safe. Remember in 2017, I think all MCAs were voted out. 86%. Mike, is it what? I think over 80% of MCAs. Again, because people were angry because of the manner in which MCAs had taken their positions. And I think it was repeated later on. But the message is, yes, the taxes are a trigger, but the taxes themselves are not directly the trigger. The questions they were asking about taxes is simple. You want to tax us to finance your opulence. That's the message that no one is getting. We cannot live like this. You can tax me, but you don't show me opulence. I was speaking to the same taxi driver yesterday about the riots. He said, our viongozi wana, well, they want tax lakini wanakula and they want to vomit on us. And that's a message that is being spoken by the lowest of the lowest. And we are not reading it. And Gen Zs are saying, yes, we shall move from national government to the county government. And remember, they are very educated. They're even saying that we know the problem is also IMF and the World Bank. They must be called to order. We cannot continue like this. But we have assumed also quite a number of things about this Gen Z. Because we have taken everything to be revolving around elite interest in this country, we have used all the lenses to organize politics, all the lenses to see how Gen Zs live and work. And let me, before I get into their participation, let me also say that what we are seeing is a snake that Ruto started growing, the hustler versus dynasty narrative. Because the same language that was used in 2022 elections, the language of saying we want systems that work for everyone, is what now the Gen Zs are saying, but we thought system will work for us. What has happened? We thought people would get job opportunities on basis of education. Now they are getting jobs on basis of connections. We thought there would be savings where people would get opportunities to invest. That is not happening. We thought it's we people at the bottom who would matter in a society. Now we have come to realize that it's political elites who matter most. And the most unfortunate thing is that even opposition elites are in this. There's none of them. There is no political elite in this country who is different from the other. Advancement of political interests is very common among all of them. And that's why even Raila himself cannot come out and speak on their behalf. I believe if any politician now comes out and starts organizing around them, he'll get something very negative from it. But we have also forgotten that Gen Zs don't use the same spaces like us. When we want them to participate in decision-making processes, we come with hard copies. These are people who have no value for hard copies like Macharia and I. They prefer their phones. In fact, the best example they say is that when you are going for public participation, people come with hard copies and very big volumes of books. We have no time for that. But we have seen how they have broken the financial bill. Even the media has never done that before. In local vernaculars, in things, in languages that matter. And they are not exaggerating. They are reading its content and breaking it down into into a manner that can be understood by anyone. And they are not using finances. And for you and I, would raise millions of shillings for public participation. And they are saying the traditional way of mobilizing public participation for us is broken. There is no connection between us and everyone else. So let me say that looking at this, I would say that Gen Z is asking all of us and the media and political elites and everyone involved in this particular space to establish systems that work for them. Systems that work for everyone without connections. Systems that work for them without bribery. And we have seen examples that they are passing around about how much it costs to get a job in different places. How much you have to pay. How much you have to pay to be paid to get a job in different places. And they're saying those are not the kind of things that everyone can have access to. They want jobs through merit. But they're saying merit is not in place anymore. It depends on who you know. And sure to it, we know very well that even when there are public positions of any number, it's MPs who are given, and those positions are divided among them so that they can pass over to their loyalists. If it's teachers, we know Teachers Service Commission also gives position to constituencies, and those constituency positions are held by MPs. So if you're not a shareholder in that constituency, what will happen to you? So they are calling us to put the country back to order. They want accountability in leadership. Yes, they are saying actually they don't mind taxes, but they want to see taxes work. They are not opposed to taxes, but they want to see taxes that work. They want a country that works for everyone. They want to see everyone being treated equally. But above all, reading from them, I think they want a country that functions. They want a country that functions. They want systems that work. They want a government that is responsible. But above everything else, they want a Kenya that means the same to everyone, irrespective of who you are and where you are. But they're also saying that they have been told many lies by their own elected leaders, both at the national and the county level. And so they are correcting this. They are correcting this. And I don't think we are using the right lenses also to address these particular challenges. Let me say, for instance, that abductions are causing fear among them. But we all very well know that abductions of the 1990s led to one thing: people voted with their feet every other time. So causing fear among them will lead to them even having more resolve to vote against political elites at different times. The second thing is that they are also transferring this demand for accountability to the villages. It's not an urban phenomenon, by the way. International media has reduced this to an urban phenomenon, saying that it's all the towns. But they forget. Yesterday, I've given the example of where I was in Diani. I was deep in the villages. This demand for accountability is widespread because they are using social media to make the villages work, to make schools work. And I dare say that there is no church that will behave the same again in this country. All religious leaders have been have been questioned. Their authority. They're even saying, if it's God who makes you think that way, then that God is not neutral. They're even starting to question their relationship with God, if that's the same God who makes religious leaders not see their plight. And we are refusing to make note of these particular nuances.